Let me read to you a passage from the 21st chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, verses 1 to 4. It's the Gospel for Monday of the 34th week in Ordinary Time, Year 2. St. Luke writes, "As Jesus looked up, he saw the rich people putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. 'I tell you the truth,' he said, 'this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on.'" That's from Luke chapter 21, verses 1 to 4. And what does it suggest to us? Well, it has been said that youth is the time of excitement and ideals, and age is the time of regrets. Whether that is the case or not, there is no doubt that life brings with it many disappointments. Perhaps we could put it differently. Early in life, so much seems possible, and there is no end to the ambitions we have, and this is good. If, when a person is young, he were not to have strong ambitions, then something important and characteristic would be missing in his youth. But then, as life proceeds, we gradually discover our poverty in this or that respect. We come to see how limited we are and how much more narrow than we thought are the possibilities before us. Instead of thinking ourselves as being very special, with great scope ahead of us, we come to see that we are very ordinary and with very limited scope to make a mark. That is to say, we come to see the reality of ourselves and the fact of the ordinary. Life is made up of the ordinary, the little, the limited, the few. Indeed, the millions of persons that constitute the stream of human history are ordinary persons, with limited resources to achieve or be much. Still, by and large, they instinctively hope to achieve a genuine significance by their lives. In their own way, they hope to be great. Well then, how can the ordinary little person be great? He cannot be great in the eyes of his fellows, and in any case such greatness as that is ephemeral, for it can vanish like the morning dew. This is surely one of the most persistent of human questions. The key to it cannot lie in the presence of certain circumstances. That is to say, we cannot hope for grandeur in our ordinary life from various sets of circumstances, such as our having a grand job, or a grand family, or whatever. If this were the key to it, any hope of greatness in life would necessarily be excluded from the vast bulk of mankind, who aspire to it in any case. Wherein then lies the grandeur of the ordinary life? In our Gospel scene today, our Lord is seated in the temple observing the people putting contributions into the temple treasury. The rich and well endowed put money into the treasury, and perhaps he noticed that they felt pleased with themselves for doing so. But then he sees someone come forward whom we could say represents the millions of little people that make up the stream of mankind, unknown and hidden. It is a poor widow. One gets the impression that she is alone in the world. There is no mention of family, no mention of support. One gets the impression of someone of whom no one takes any notice. She is getting on in years and unable to do much. She is one of the very little people, one of the very ordinary ones, one of those many who are forgotten and who will disappear largely without a trace. She has nothing and does not seem to have done very much. How can her life attain a real significance, a certain greatness as it were? It is this which everyone instinctively desires, a certain greatness in some respect. Well, our Lord gives us the answer. Let us listen again to the passage. As he looked up, Jesus saw the rich putting their gifts into the temple treasury. He also saw a poor widow put in 2 very small copper coins. I tell you the truth, he said, this poor widow has put in more than all the others. All these people gave their gifts out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on. She was greater than all the others, who put in a great deal. She gave more than they. She did more than they. She was held up by our Lord above them. She, in her own way, attained a certain grandeur that the Son of God himself saw and directed his disciples to appreciate. The key to her greatness was that from within her poverty she gave all she had to live on. It does not matter whether we have little or much in the sight of men. What matters is that we give all that God has given to us back to him. This we do by doing his will as well as we can and with as much love as possible. This is a golden lesson, and it is one which needs to be brought to the whole world and to every person. It is the consolation of consolations for all during life. All God asks of us is that we do our very best for him. We ought to do our best in the doing of our duty, in the fulfilling of our God-given responsibilities. We ought to strive to be like the poor widow who had nothing but 2 small coins, and she gave to God all she had to live on. She was a greater person than all the others who gave what they did not really need. So then, let us today and every day give to God all that we have